The Devil All the Time is unfortunately not in theaters, but it is streaming currently on Netflix right now. This was a movie I had no idea what it was about. I only really knew it was based on a book, and I knew that Tom Holland and Robert Pattinson were in it, but I didn't see a trailer, and I had no idea what the premise was about. So, for those of you that want to know, the premise is really quite simple. It's about how in the state of Ohio, there's a neighborhood, and in the backwoods of said state, there seems to be sinister characters running amok as they are all focusing around a young Arvin Russell, who is played by, of course, Tom Holland. Now, Tom Holland and Robert Pattinson are in this movie, obviously, but it's also littered with other great actors and actresses such as Sebastian Stan, Haley Bennett, Bill Skarsgård, and of course Mia Wasikowska. The cast is great. Saying it right off the bat, the cast is really good. Also, love how this movie was shot on film. Very surprising considering it is a Netflix movie and they usually shoot digitally, as well as most movies do these days. But the fact that it was shot on film is really amazing, to say the least. I think it's very well shot. Again, it's very well acted. And I do have to say that I think that the overall overarching themes in the movie are intriguing, to say the least. Both themes and messages are something that at first I found to be a bit hard to grasp. When I say hard to grasp, I mean it was kind of like it seems too simple, but as the film went on, it felt like it was getting more and more jaded in terms of like what it's trying to accomplish, and I liked that because this is a very nihilistic movie. It's a very dark movie, a very bleak movie, and I liked that. I really liked the tone of this movie. I thought that was pretty perfect. The fact that it was very humorless. I don't know. I usually try to lean towards movies that don't really have much humor. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I myself am usually kind of a serious person. So, but I also liked the twists and turns. There were one or two twists that I did see coming, but a lot of times I did kind of feel like, oh, what's going to happen? I'm like, this could happen or this could happen, and then it's like one of the things that like usually doesn't happen in a movie. So I liked that. I really dug that. I like the production design, the costume design. This is definitely a good-looking film, in terms of not just the way it's shot, but also the budget. The budget was clearly well utilized in terms of production design and costume design as well. But this isn't a perfect movie. I found the story to be honestly kind of meandering until the second half. When the second half happened, that was for me when I was really able to connect to this movie because up until that point, I wasn't really able to connect to these characters, and I think that largely is in due fact to the narration. Narration for me in movies is hit or miss. Like I like Morgan Freeman's narration in The Shawshank Redemption. I like the narration in the movie Little Children. But for this, for some reason, for the most part, I didn't really dig it. In fact, there were a lot of times where the narrator was saying things that I already was figuring out based on the acting of the characters. But again, I get it that it's based on a book, so it's probably one of those things where they wanted to obviously preserve. But I just wasn't a big fan of it. Did I hate it? No. But I did find it distracting during many scenes. Also, I do think that in terms of pacing, again, going to the fact of the matter that I think the second act's better, the second half is better, it goes down to the pacing. I do think that it is glacially paced in the beginning. Again, that's just first viewing. Maybe if I rewatch it, I'll like it better, but for now, I definitely find a lot of issues to be in the first half. I wasn't really engaged as much. And I think that that's just kind of interesting because I feel like Netflix movies this year, that's kind of like a trend for myself because I'm thinking of ending things. It was the same type of situation. The first half, I wasn't really that into it. And then the second half happened, I was like, this is really good. And it's just like this movie. The Devil All the Time. It's a movie that definitely gets better as it goes along. And it definitely is an enriching experience. Like this is pretty much like a southern redneck version of The Place Beyond the Pines. But a little bit less interesting, at least in terms of the first half. But nonetheless, I would still recommend this movie. Is it a flawless movie? Again, no. You heard my criticisms with it. But I do think it's definitely worth your time. It's a movie that is original. It's a movie that stands out among the pack of movies I've seen this year. And for me personally, The Devil All the Time, I'll be giving it a 3.5 out of 5 star rating, which, for those like a hot sauce rating, it's a good old Texas Speed hot sauce rating. Now, who knows? Maybe my rating will go up upon rewatching, but for now, this is just my thoughts. Again, my thoughts sometimes change drastically with movies, both positively and negatively, so who knows? Maybe this movie upon rewatch, I'll like it more or less, but we'll see. Guys, The Devil All the Time, though, what did you think about it? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and as always, don't forget the subscription, notification bell, and I'll Catch you guys later.